Australia was a long way from anywhere back in 1947. So when Qantas launched the kangaroo route, it made history. With its 4-day, 7-hop journey from Sydney to London, passengers were treated to first-class service and paid for the privilege. A return fare cost 2.5 years' worth of an average salary. In 2018, well, Australia is still a long way from anywhere, which is why the first ever commercial non-stop, the QF9 from Perth to London, is so momentous.
Now you've got to look happy.
Even for an experienced airline chief executive.
I feel very proud of Qantas.
To truly understand this aviation evolution of the last 7 decades, we've been flying the kangaroo route 2 ways. As it is today, 17 hours non-stop. That is extraordinary. And as it was in 1947, making stops along the early route. We've been to Singapore. This was the place where passengers had their first overnight stay. Visited vibrant India. You can't beat tradition, like a grand hotel staircase with a floral arrangement.
Bombay was where everything was happening.
The route isn't the only part of the ultra-long haul that's evolved. The passenger experience has too. By pushing this button, suddenly the bathroom feels more daylight. Light to help reset the body clock. And a meal service pushed later into the flight.
We didn't want people to get on board and fall asleep.
It's all part of the Qantas recipe to jettison jet lag. And we're only halfway through this epic trip. So let's rejoin the Qantas 9 in flight on the journey from Perth to London. 10 hours into a 17-hour flight. It's that inevitable time during any ultra-long haul when you've just got to move. Find something to do that you haven't already done. My home is looking a little dishevelled. A bit of housekeeping is probably in order. But not to worry. It's time just to review exactly what Qantas has done with the seat. I like the very large footwell that they put on board. It allows people like me with big feet to get a decent bit of room. But I think the one thing in this seat, which is made by Thompson's, that's really good is the sheer amount of space where there is to put things. So often, we've talked about this before on Business Traveller, the lack of storage space is extraordinary. Here, lots of space. And notice how the plug is exactly where you can then put your phone so it charges. The seat controls straightforward. The lighting in the seat all makes sense. I can't fault it, actually.
They've done an outstanding job. I mean, it's almost a non-event, this flight. It's seamless, it's painless.
Jeffrey Thomas is a writer and long-time aviation analyst.
The evidence shows that the majority of passengers want to fly non-stop. We know, for instance, when a new route is opened between 2 new destinations, it triples the traffic. A non-stop will triple the traffic on a route.
I can feel the effects of the way Qantas has changed things, in the snacks, in the way they've timed the flight, in the way they've done the lighting.
Absolutely. They have put an enormous amount of science into this. Just going back to square one and saying we need to rule in the ultra-long range space.
Making a success of the ultra-long haul flight is all about maximising the fuel. So Qantas went back to basics with the industrial designer David Keon. He went nose to tail on the aircraft, stripping out weight wherever he could. For instance, redesigning the crockery to make it 11% lighter. new lightweight ovens, and the galley carts, normally weighing more than 30 kilos. These are down at just around 18. The hard economic reality. The lighter everything is, the less fuel you'll use, and the further the plane can fly. There's no question, this non-stop experience is a quantum leap forward from the early days of the kangaroo route. Those passengers were packing for quite a journey. At this point in the trip, they'd have been making their 5th stop and their 2nd overnight stay. Cairo. To get an idea of what that was like, I'm stepping back in time to visit Egypt's capital city. There is something about Cairo. The vastness of the city, the historical significance, it truly feels important. The first order of business, a place to rest. The historic Marriott Mina House Hotel would have been the place to stay for those early kangaroute passengers wanting a room with a view. Originally a royal hunting lodge, the Mina House didn't become a hotel until the 1880s. And like the ancient site outside its gates, the Mina House has stood as a witness to history, serving as a hospital during World War I and a meeting point for summit leaders in the 1940s. The inside, designed with Arabian magic in mind, and outside, the Great Pyramids of Giza. Once a big draw for travellers, Egypt's trying to get them to return.